told me my porch was illegal. They slapped me with fines, threatened lawsuits, and tried to humiliate me in front of my neighbors. But what they didn't realize was that I had every permit, every document, and the truth on my side. By the time it was over, the court didn't just clear my name, it forced the HOA to pay damages. And I'll never forget the look on their faces when the judge read that verdict. My name is James. I'm 64 years old, a retired teacher, and I've lived in the same house with my wife, Carol, for nearly 30 years. Our home wasn't fancy, but it was ours, filled with laughter, family dinners, and warm evenings on the porch. That porch was my pride. I built it myself after retiring, using my own hands and the woodworking skills I'd picked up over the years. I made sure everything was by the book. I filed the permit request with the city, had it inspected, and got it officially approved. The porch was safe, sturdy, and matched the look of the neighborhood perfectly. Neighbors even complimented it, saying how welcoming it made the house feel. But not everyone was happy. The Homeowners Association, led by a woman named Sandra, who many of us quietly called the neighborhood queen, didn't like it. And she was about to make my life miserable. The first letter came a few weeks after I finished the porch. Dear Mr. James Wilson, your porch violates HOA construction rules. Remove it immediately or face daily fines. I thought it had to be a mistake. So I walked into the HOA office, papers in hand. Look, I told Sandra, laying down the permit, the city inspection approval, everything. This porch is legal. I followed every rule. She barely glanced at the papers before smirking. The HOA has its own standards. Your porch was not approved by us. It must go. I was stunned. You can't override the city. This is my property. I did everything right. Her smile turned sharp. We'll see about that. And with that, the battle began. The letters became constant. $100 fines. Then $250. Threats of liens on my property. Even threats to take me to court. At neighborhood meetings, Sandra would single me out. Some people think they're above the rules, she'd say, looking directly at me. But we all have to live by the same standards. A few neighbors whispered support, but most stayed silent, afraid of crossing the HOA. I felt isolated, bullied, and disrespected in my own community. But I refused to give in. That porch wasn't just wood and nails, it was my hard work, my dignity, and a place where my family gathered. I wasn't about to tear it down because Sandra wanted control. One night, after another threatening letter arrived, I sat on the porch with Carol. I can't keep living like this, I said. It feels like a war. She squeezed my hand. Then fight back, James. Really fight. You have the truth. Don't let them scare you. She was right. I wasn't just going to defend myself, I was going to take the HOA to court. The next morning, I hired a lawyer. Together, we gathered every piece of evidence, my city permits, inspection approvals, photos of the porch during construction, copies of every threatening HOA letter, notes from neighbors who'd witnessed Sandra's public comments. We built a case not just showing that my porch was legal, but that the HOA had harassed me without cause. When the HOA officially filed their lawsuit to force me to remove the porch, I didn't panic. Instead, I countersued for harassment, emotional distress, and damages. The battle lines were drawn. The courtroom was packed the day of the hearing. Many neighbors came to watch. Sandra sat smugly at the plaintiff's table, her expensive lawyer by her side. The judge entered, and the case began. The HOA's lawyer argued first. Your Honor, Mr. Wilson's porch was built without HOA approval. It violates community aesthetics and sets a dangerous precedent. Sandra nodded proudly, as if victory were already hers. Then my lawyer stood. Your Honor, everything you're about to hear is not only false, it's harassment. My client followed every law, filed every permit, and passed every inspection. What the HOA has done is an abuse of power. He handed the judge the thick stack of documents we'd prepared. One by one, the truth came out. The signed city permit. The inspection approval. The timeline showing the HOA's letters starting only after the porch was completed. The threats of massive fines. The attempts to publicly shame me. When it was my turn to speak, I stood slowly. Your Honor, I said, my voice steady, this porch is where my wife and I sit every evening. It's where my grandchildren play when they visit. I built it with my own hands, legally, with respect for the law and my neighbors. The HOA doesn't want fairness. They want control. And they have tried to destroy my peace for no reason at all. The room was silent. Even the judge looked moved. After reviewing the evidence, the judge leaned forward. This court finds that Mr. Wilson's porch is entirely legal, built with proper permits, and does not violate any enforceable law. Furthermore, the HOA's repeated fines, threats, and actions constitute harassment. Therefore, this court orders the HOA to cease all claims immediately and to pay damages to Mr. Wilson in the amount of $15,000. Gasps filled the courtroom. Sandra's face turned white. The gavel struck. Justice was done. The news spread quickly through the neighborhood. For years, people had whispered about the HOA's unfair tactics, but no one had stood up to them. Now, they saw what could happen when someone did. Neighbors who once stayed silent came to shake my hand. Some even thanked me for giving them courage. The HOA board was forced to change leadership. Sandra resigned shortly after, her power shattered. And my porch? It's still standing, stronger than ever. On warm evenings, I sit there with Carol, watching the sunset, sipping tea, and remembering that dignity is worth defending. I learned that bullies often hide behind rules, but rules can't erase truth. And sometimes, the only way to protect your peace is to fight back, not with anger, but with patience, persistence, and the law on your side. That porch isn't just wood and nails anymore. It's a reminder that justice always finds its way, even when it feels like the whole world is against you. Thank you for listening to my story. If you believe in fairness, dignity, and standing up for what's right, please subscribe to our channel. We share powerful stories that prove no one is too small to fight for justice and win.